New Line Cinema presents the story of one elf who's coming home for Christmas.
Boy, can't wait to see my dad. We're gonna go ice skating and eat sugar plums. Sorry!
Now,
I think someone sent you a Christmas gram.
Dad!
We should call security.
Good idea.
I like to whisper too.
Buddy's experiencing a world he never knew existed.
But he's your son. What am I gonna do? He's certifiably insane.
Discovering what it takes to fit in. And going where no elf has gone before.
What he needs is to be nurtured. Bring him home. Introduce him to Emily and Michael.
How long do you think you'll be with us?
I was thinking like forever.
I suppose it would be better if I'd never been born at all.
What'd you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
You've got your wish. You've never been born. A chance to see what the world would be like without you.
Now, you're Ernie Bishop, and you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid. That's right, isn't it?
I live in a shack in Potter's Field, and I ain't never seen you before in my life.
I'm going home and see my wife and family.
Well, this house ain't been lived in for 20 years.
Your brother, Harry Bailey, broke through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9. You weren't there to save Harry. Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. You really had a wonderful life.
If Santa is smart, he'll stay well clear of this joint. It's a death trap.
Then Christmas with the Griswolds.
Everybody come out quick, look at the lights! They want you to say grace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
This year, let Chevy Chase light up your holidays. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Everyone loves to talk about movies, whether they're good or bad, and that's what we're going to do today. Today we're going to be talking about holiday movies. I'm Joe Horine. I'm the Assistant Director of the Underground Academy for Cinematic Arts, and I teach at University of Cincinnati. And I'm here with my friend Greg Procaccino, who's a local actor and teaches at Thomas More University.
Correct. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Yeah.
So a couple clarifications before we get rolling here. There's a lot of movies made about the holidays. We're going to focus on what let's call the December holidays. So,
okay. That's true. Not Halloween.
Yeah, not Halloween, not Valentine's Day, not even Thanksgiving, because Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a great Thanksgiving movie. We're not going to talk about that.
All right,
We're also not going to talk about the plethora of movies about Ebenezer Scrooge and A Christmas Carol.
We did that already.
We've talked about that another time.
Yeah.
So these are movies from the holidays that are outside that scope. And we're going to start with the classics.
Yeah.
For me, the number one classic holiday film is the 1946 Frank Capra film, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
If you know Frank Capra's work, it's often called Capricorn because it's meant to be inspirational, and particularly in 1946, coming out of World War II, when things were a little grim, people needed inspiration. And we talked about Scrooge. It's a little bit Scrooge-like because
Barrymore's in it. Lionel Barrymore plays a Scrooge-like character, the banker who's going to harm George Bailey. George Bailey.
Yeah.
And there's Jimmy Stewart, first film he made right after World War II.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful film, released in the summer, not during the winter. When Capra released it in the summer, people weren't quite sure if it was a holiday movie.
Yeah.
But the holidays play a very important part because the end of the film, the last part, takes place during the Christmas holidays when you should be thinking about each other and mankind. And Jimmy Stewart has a tough decision to make, live or die.
Right.
And the holidays help him. And an angel, God helps him.
Well, and the angel takes him back to see things in his past life, much like Ebenezer Scrooge is taken back by the ghost.
Right? You saw that,
yeah. There's a little bit of a tie-in there.
Yeah.
There are lots of things that are notable about this film. AFI, the American Film Institute, ranks it the number 11 film of all time. The song Buffalo Gals, where they sing, they fall in the pool when the floor opens at the dance. It's an inspiration for the other holiday movie Gremlins, Joe Dante's Gremlins. There's a lot of references to It's a Wonderful Life in Gremlins.
Is it a holiday movie? It's Wonderful Life. Is it a really holiday movie?
I think it is. I think just because it's become part of the holiday tradition, as have other movies. I've not seen all of them, like Christmas in Connecticut I've never seen. But one I've seen a lot that's also a great holiday movie is Miracle on 34th Street, also from that same period, 1947.
Right.
Won Oscars for its screenplay for the writing, and for Edmund Gwynn, who plays Kris Kringle.
Yep.
And also a young Natalie Wood.
Very young Natalie Wood, playing the daughter of a divorced woman. Maureen O'Hara plays a divorced mother, and you didn't talk about that kind of stuff in films back then.
Right.
I know it sounds weird. It's a story about Santa Claus, and spoiler alert, there is a Santa Claus, but it's
Virginia.
I think it works because there's some reality in the movie. This little girl doesn't believe, and they're talking about a woman who's having a tough time raising a daughter alone, and this energy comes into their life that changes them all, makes her a believer. And is he really Christmas? I think he is. I think he's Santa Claus.
Certainly seems that way.
I think this movie ran at a theater in New York or someplace, or a year, or someplace in the I've heard that stat. Miracle on 34th Street ran for an entire year or forever. It was that popular in a neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah. Been remade, as we were discussing. It's been remade a couple times, but
Twice.
never with quite the same chutzpah as the original.
Well, it was remade for TV with Sebastian Cabot in, I think, the 70s. The 90s version, was it 90s or 80s? The 90s with John Hughes' script with Richard Attenborough. Lovely piece. But we talked about this before. Why do it? It's perfect the way it is. It is a holiday movie. I vote for that, absolutely.
Another one that I would say definitely falls into the holiday movie, but even because the title is A White Christmas from 1952. Irving Berlin music is the star there, in addition, of course, to Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. The song White Christmas actually premiered a decade earlier in the film Holiday Inn.
That's right.
But Irving Berlin's music is great. And this period in the 50s is when movies were having to start compete with television.
Yes.
And so this is a beautiful VistaVision Technicolor production of what's clearly a holiday movie, White Christmas.
Original songs, all original songs except for White Christmas. Cincinnati's own Vera Ellen, she's from Cincinnati, dancing. I think the key, it's beautiful to look at, fun. You get, my take is, you get Danny Kaye in this film, who normally is a star in his own films, playing not a supporting role, but he takes second billing to Bing Crosby. You've got a cast that just lifts it up, and Kaye's funny, and Bing Crosby. They work so well together, and Rosemary Clooney from Cincinnati. How can I forget Rosemary Clooney?
The Clooney family.
The Clooney family. White, and again, also released in the summer.
Yeah,
when it was released, it's become a holiday movie. When they've released it in the summer, people said, "Why?"
Yeah.
But it was a big hit even in the summer because it makes you feel good at the end.
Yeah.
People come together, and the spirit. That's what holiday movie. It's the spirit of a film that reaches out to an audience. And this has so much energy and spirit. You just go, you enjoy it. It takes you somewhere else.
And that's what creates the great memories from these movies.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the classics. Next, we'll stop and talk about comedies that are specifically focused on holidays. And we'll be back in a minute to do that.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright.
Welcome back. We're talking about holiday movies today. In the first segment, we talked about the classic holiday movies, movies like It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street. In this segment, we're going to talk about comedies from the holidays, and I'll start with one of my favorites, because I love Will Ferrell so much. He just makes me laugh. He's very silly, but also Bob Newhart in the movie Elf.
I love Elf.
And Bob Newhart's a great comic for many years, and the coupling of Will Ferrell as an oversized elf, who's Bob Newhart's adopted son. It's just hilarious. The 4 food groups, all the different kinds of candy and maple syrup. It's got a really great start, really funny. Kind of dwindles a little bit at the end, but overall, I'd give it the thumbs up as one of the best comedy for the holiday movie set.
It's fun. They made a Broadway musical out of it. Yeah, and very successful. Like all good, I think, stories, it's the lead that leads it. Pardon the redundancy. Ferrell's childishness, his positive youthfulness. Yeah. As opposed to Scrooge, he believes in everything, and that pushes the whole film. If he ever drops his guard, I mean, he faces trouble. But Ferrell's genuine warmth and open-eyedness, wide-eyed, and James Caan being the foil. Yeah. It's Ferrell's movie, and without him, this doesn't work. And he is so genuine and so sweet. You fall in love with him and his journey. Yeah. It's great to watch. And at the end, and Newhart's funny. I like Bob Newhart, too.
Yeah, it's got a few of those memorable scenes. The one, I don't know if you remember, I think he drinks a whole 2-liter Pepsi and he has like a 30-second belch. Yes. It's very crude and crass, but it's also, in a sophomoric sort of way, very funny.
Childlike, not childish. Let's go with that. Childlike. Yeah. And that's infectious to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one that gets played a lot, especially on television, is A Christmas Story. I think TNT or somebody plays it round the clock on Christmas Day. So maybe a little overplayed on TV. But before I kind of got sick of it, I like that movie. It's got the running theme about you can't get a BB gun because you'll
shoot your eye out.
Shoot someone's eye out, which is sort of a parent thing to say.
Remember that.
But also the classic urban myth about if you stick your tongue to a frozen flagpole, it'll stick.
That's not true.
I don't know. I never tried it.
I'm not trying to. No.
But that's one that comes up as sort of the Christmas holiday movie list.
To beat that drum, again, released in summer. I remember the ad. I said, why not? I told him to my then wife. May she rest in peace. I'm kidding. But I said, a Christmas movie in the middle of summer didn't do anything. Yeah. It like with It's a Wonderful Life, it took TV to bring it back to life. And again, the kids are cute. Darren McGavin's a stitch. He's funny.
The ridiculous leg lamp.
The leg lamp. Fragile. Right. It works because there's an innocence to it. Because it's for the kids. It's through the kids' eyes. Yeah. And that draws us in because we buy what he's seeing and how he's being moved and affected. Then we're moved and affected for the holidays.
And we all have memories of our childhood, as Christmases at childhood, and it kind of evokes that, I think.
Okay, absolutely.
So that one's definitely on the list of holiday comedies. Another one that's come across in a few different incarnations is The Grinch. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Initially the book by I'm blanking.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. Theodore Geisel. A live and animated version. I personally feel like the original 30-second or 30-minute version with Boris Karloff voicing it. Neither of the movies, live or animated, have improved on that. But it's those '60s cartoons. I've got my Charlie Brown,
which is also a great show.
Yeah, great holiday show. We're talking about movies, but the shows from the '60s, the TV cartoons that were about a half hour long about Christmas,
more compelling, more effective.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey does a great job, but they have to beef it up into a 2-hour film.
Right.
I remember a story they said, Ron Howard directed it, and he was talking to the young girl, Cindy Lou Who, and he told her, don't be afraid of the Grinch, as opposed to, you just think he's silly. And I said, well, the Grinch has to invoke some fear, right, so we don't like him, so he has something to change. He has to have a threat. And I went, oh. And again, they pad it out and they make it long, and it's the 30-minute version cuts more to the heart than the 90 minutes of film because they have to add extra stuff. and they're making Jim Carrey silly. Boris Karloff's got a little edge to him.
Right.
There's a little edge there, and that's missing in the film, I think.
Well, it's like we've talked about Scrooge. There's that arc of kind of going from, and even George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, starting off, he's pretty, he jumps off a bridge to kill himself in a holiday movie.
Yeah,
of course, he comes
that's
around,
right.
just like Scrooge, and of course the Boris Karloff or the Grinch character comes around in the same way to recognize the spirit of Christmas.
Yes.
And in the cartoon version, I especially love the song. Thurl Ravenscroft sings the song. He was the Tony Tiger. It's great.
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. That's a great song.
Yes.
In the movie, I think it's hard for me, at least, to get around Jim Carrey, even in makeup. I'm still seeing, The Mask and Ace Ventura.
Liar, liar.
He's such a character that you're thinking, it's not the Grinch, it's Jim Carrey with green makeup on.
And I defend the performance. He's good.
Yeah.
But I think he's asked to do too much.
Yeah.
Because it's such a long film.
Yeah.
Brevity has its successful places in entertainment. I think that's a prime example.
And they build all kinds of sets, and they have to add all kinds of
characters,
what I call spectacle to fill it out from the shorter version. And it's okay, but just not great. But certainly one to mention on the list of holiday movies. And the last one that I want to talk about is actually my favorite holiday movie, National Lampoon's Vacation. That's one that I can see every Christmas, every holiday season, and still not get sick of it. It's the third in the series.
Yes, it is.
It was National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation, and then Christmas Vacation is the cherry on the top of the Griswold Sundae. But even though Chevy Chase is great as Clark Griswold, I think Randy Quaid as Uncle Eddie takes the cake. I mean, he's just hilarious.
You know who wrote the third one? I won a bet on this with a friend of mine. John Hughes wrote the third one, and it has that homey thing with an edge. I think everybody's gone through a Christmas just like that one.
Right.
They've got those relatives, they've got those experiences. Although with a comedy, it's heightened. But Randy Quaid is so funny. You've got that uncle, and at the end, it is saved.
Right.
There's a mean boss.
Right.
There's
Bill Murray's brother, Brian
Doyle Murray. It's got those elements of Christmas Carol, but it's that family, and you can put yourself in that situation and say, that has happened to me. I didn't laugh at it when I was going through with it. It's fun to watch somebody else go through it and laugh at their experience.
Right.
And Chevy Chase is really funny in it.
Well, and all three of the vacation movies, because they involve relatives and big meals and vacations are fun but stressful. There's a lot of planning that's involved. So all three of these movies are funny vacation movies, but this one in particular, he's spent the bonus money on the pool, and the bonus money isn't going to come. So I think it's interesting that so many of these movies that we think about as holiday movies fall into the comedy space. It's not real sort of somber, even less so religious movies. It's more comedies about families and about people understanding the spirit of Christmas or whatever holiday they celebrate at the end of the year from a spiritual more than a pure religious standpoint. I think that's kind of interesting.
Very interesting and identifiable to anybody who's out there watching this film.
Right.
So we agree this was a holiday movie. These are holiday movies.
Yeah.
Because there's some we're not sure about.
Right. And when we come back, that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Movies that may or may not be holiday movies. We'll talk about them and you can decide.
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward. That it is indeed.
I'm sorry, Clark.
This isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I ever got. God damn it! Son. If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head.
And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about movies, talking about holiday movies, and since we just finished talking about comedies, I thought I'd dress things up a little bit with a little ho ho ho.
You make that hat look good.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. In this last segment, we're gonna ask the question: are these really holiday movies? There's a lot of movies that have come out that are released around the holidays, right, and maybe even take place during the holidays. But does that make them a holiday movie? And we'll start with one that I ask a lot of people, what's your favorite movie during the holidays? And they say Die Hard. If you know Die Hard, it's Bruce Willis as McClane, the cop who is doing this miraculous rescue in a building or a plane or something in the series. And I'll ask you, Greg,
yes,
is Die Hard a holiday movie?
No,
it's not.
It just takes place at the holidays.
Aha.
Its theme is about saving his wife and these people from terrorists, the great Alan Rickman, who are going to steal, it just takes place at the holidays. It puts an extra emphasis on his behavior, mostly because his wife, Bonnie Bedelia, is trapped. But no, it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, there's Christmas trees in the background and
Christmas music at
Christmas
the end. Vaughn Meter singing.
Yeah, he's traveling to see family at Christmas. But I don't know. I don't think that does make it a holiday movie, even though that's what a lot of people answer, I guess.
I know they do. That's a discussion I hear a lot from people. I said, really?
Yeah.
They say it's. I thought, wow, okay, no, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Another one that comes up, in fact, it's a discussion I've had with my son when he was very little. The movie The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a Tim Burton movie, which we were watching at Halloween, but he kept calling it a Christmas movie because I guess Christmas is in the title. Is that a holiday movie? Tim Burton.
Tell me.
Tim Burton's movie, I would say no, but Tim Burton's movie Batman Returns is a movie that has a lot of Christmas imagery in it. Again, It's one of those movies that takes place at Christmas with Christmas trees, but there's also sort of a lot of evocation of the myths of rebirth and resurrection that I think are a little bit more Christmassy than The Nightmare Before Christmas, even though Santa Claus is a character in it, but the star is Jack Skellington, and he's the Santa Claus of Halloween, actually. So I would say maybe. No on Die Hard, maybe on Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, don't go out on a limb there, Joe. I mean, come on. What's the story about? Is it about Christmas? No. It's not. Is it about Christmas? No. It's about Jack's pursuit of what he wants.
Right.
Kind of Scrooge-like.
Yeah.
But it's tough to say that. I need somebody to sit down with me over some bourbon and convince me that that's a Christmas movie. I don't see it.
Right. Yeah, I could go either way.
It depends on the bourbon.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fortunately, there's a lot of good bourbon around this place.
We'll talk all night about it then.
Yeah, exactly. Another movie, there's actually two movies I kind of placed together. There's a movie called The Family Stone and a movie called Love Actually that always play at the holidays. In fact, we have the DVDs, and every year my wife gets these movies out at the holidays and watches them. And my sons used to walk through the room and, Mom, are you watching that movie and crying again? So these are very sort of poignant movies and sometimes sad, but they also play at Christmas time, and they also have some of that, evocation of the holiday season in them. So I don't know. Do you know those two films?
I do. I Love Actually, yes, and Family Stone. Both the films dealing with human relations and difficulty in trying to please people. They take place during the holidays. It's not, and maybe how the holidays affect the relationships and what's happening in Family Stone. But the theme of it isn't Christmas. Like the Grinch, like Elf. The theme of it isn't Christmas and Santa. Those films could take place during Halloween. They could take place during the 4th of July weekend.
Right.
And still have the same. The holidays put an effect on people's behavior, but it's not the thrust of the behavior. That's my answer to say no. No, I don't think so.
So obviously there's a long list of movies that we could talk about that aren't holiday movies. We could be here forever talking about that. But to close out, do you have any thoughts on sort of why people sort of resonate around movies in the holidays. It's sort of a thing. We've spent a whole show talking about it, both classic films, comedies, and a few movies that could or couldn't be holiday films. I mean, what is it about the holidays that makes people love to go to the movies?
Go to the movies or watch the movies?
Either one.
Either one.
Yeah.
It's tradition. CM, our producer, was talking about, he's talking about how I used to love it when I was a kid, and these things were on every Christmas at this time.
Right.
Tradition, something you can rely on,
right.
something that the family all sat around together and watched, that you didn't, remember these started years ago before VCRs and DVD. Right. You had to wait till Christmas to see Miracle on 34th Street. So if you're of an era,
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, I love Charlie Brown.
Or The Grinch, or Frosty the Snowman with Burl Ives singing.
You had to wait, and you all came and did it together at a moment in time that was special, either manufactured by consumers or whatever. You came together as a group and watched and shared the experience, and it was about a holiday movie, always Christmas. And I think that's why people resonate to the films. It reminds them of a time, it reminds them of a feeling. It reminds them of something that they want to keep. It's also something you want to relive again, that feeling. I think that's why.
Right.
I think. How about you? What do you think?
I think that it's a time when relatives come to town and you're looking for something to do other than sit around and stare at each other.
Stare at each other like football games.
You're looking for an event. You're looking for something to go do. And a movie's a good thing to go do, or to sit around and watch TV. And whether you're laughing at Clark Griswold and Uncle Eddie in National Lampoon's Vacation, or you're enjoying the transformation of George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life with Clarence the Angel getting his wings, right?
He gets his wings.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings, right?
Yeah.
So you were saying something about It's a Wonderful Life and the distribution rights for it. I thought was interesting.
It's interesting to note, the only place you can see it now on television is NBC. It found its second life because every station around the country bought it for practically nothing and showed it during the holidays, say Ohio, Des Moines, wherever.
Right.
NBC, I think, bought up all the rights. It did something legal, so you can only see it on TV now on NBC. You can, of course, get the DVD and the CD and Netflix, whatever. But if you're going to watch it on broadcast TV, NBC is the only person that has it now. So it's become a tradition that if you want to see it on TV and broadcast, you can only see it on NBC around the holidays. Again, like the old days.
Right.
You went to one place to see one show that you only see one time a year.
Right.
That's what made it special.
Just like the holidays only come around once a year.
Thank God.
Or at least the December holidays.
At least December holidays.
December holidays come around once a year. So, well, we've talked a lot about a lot of movies here today, and so take a look and make sure you catch It's a Wonderful Life and Elf and National Lampoon's Vacation and some of these ones like Die Hard and the others, and you decide if those are holiday movies or not. So that's all for this week, and we'll catch you next time on Talking About Movies.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be very happy to see them.
Yes. Produce them, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor...
Put them here on the desk. Put them...
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office has delivered them. Therefore, the Post Office Department, a branch of the federal government, recognizes this man, Kris Kringle, to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed.